At number 10 on the list, is James Whittaker. He pulled no punches in his resignation letter to Google, and it quickly spread across the net. His chief gripe was that the Google he knew had changed entirely, since he'd been working there, and was so obsessed with selling advertising space, that they could no longer see the bigger picture. He admitted that Google had always been keen on selling ad space, but that Google was an ad company only in the sense that a good TV show is an ad company, having great content that attracts the advertisers. According to Whittaker, this drive to be the top advertising space on the web manifested itself in a fierce rivalry with Facebook, even though Facebook wasn't necessarily playing. At number 9 is a story of Richard Pepiat, from Daily Star newspaper. If anyone should know how to put together a resignation letter, you would think that it would be a journalist. Richard Pepiat certainly showed what he was being paid for with this nicely vicious letter to the paper's proprietor, Richard Desmond, where he discusses the shame that he feels at working for a paper that is so guilty of spreading hatred against Muslims. It was this story, and other bits of light-hearted Islamophobia, that pushed Richard Pepiat to finally quit his job, but he made sure that the world should know about it. That's a real journalist for you. At number 8, is Steve Jobs. He resigned from Apple in August 2011, just few months before his death, and his resignation letter was a shining example of how to resign with dignity and grace. In that letter, he mentioned that he believed Apple's brightest and most innovative days are ahead of it, and cited his reason for leaving his job by saying, "I have always said that if there ever came a day when I could no longer meet my expectations and duties as Apple's CEO, I would be the first to let you know." Unfortunately, that day has come. At number 7 is Andrew Mason, from Groupon. This story broke on February 28th and his letter spread quickly to the news. In that letter, the CEO of Groupon says that he wants to spend more time with his family, before quickly adding that he was just kidding, he was fired that day. He spends most of the letter reassuring his former employees that he will be fine and they should not worry about him. He compares Groupon to Battletoads, saying, "It's like he got all the way to the terror tubes without dying on my first ever playthrough." It's a great, unselfish letter from a guy who sounds like he would have been really fun to work for, even if he didn't quite deliver all those boring financial targets. Number 6 is Greg Smith, from Goldman Sachs. Here's a way to resign in style. Do it in the New York Times. The headline was, "Why I Left Goldman Sachs," and what followed was a scathing indictment of practices at the firm, which he described as toxic and destructive. He also made reference to how senior managers referred to their clients as Muppets. Of course, a full-scale public attack against a powerful company is going to backfire, and when he later tried to cash in by turning his letter into a book, he was savaged by industry experts and reviewers alike. Inevitably, there was only one word that most people chose to describe him, and that was Muppet. At number 5, Andrew Allard from Hedge Fund is another overworked executive, throwing it away with a flourish. Andrew Allard quit in 2008 after his firm made a huge amount of money betting against subprime mortgages. He said that he is intended to concentrate on repairing his mental health. In his letter, he mocked foolish traders, and thanked them for being stupid enough to make his fortune. He wrote, "All of this behavior, supporting the aristocracy, only ended up making it easier for me to find people stupid enough to take the other side of my trades. God bless America." Number 4 is Stephen Round, Rhode Island teacher. Stephen Round released this video on the internet to announce his resignation. In it, he talks about the dangers of standardized testing, and how the system is just churning out test takers, rather than individuals. After he was stopped from reading the letter at a school committee meeting, he went home and read it out to a webcam. Initially the video release was not successful, due to the timing of it, but later it went viral. Stephen Round may no longer have a job, but it's safe to say that he has made his point. At number 3, Karen Chang from Microsoft. Karen Chang decided to set her resignation letter to the tune of American Pie, and it was a celebration of all things: working on Excel, enjoying Taco Fridays and drinking in the hallways. She sung the song as "All Together Now." Long lines of code. Kat Sakdalan, who was a graphic designer, she was unhappy enough in her job, and then her father got ill, and she had to spend a lot of time working from home to look after him. It's hard going. Not only that, but she found out her colleagues complaining about her absences to her boss. So, Kat Sakdalan quit her job, but she don't just quit in a normal way. She write a Technicolor resignation letter in kids' crayon, complete with a tiny picture of a dog. And at the top of the list is Neil Barrett, quitting his job at the shipyard on health and family grounds. Neil Barrett wanted to leave on sweet terms, so he wrote his resignation letter on a cake. Describing his time at the shipyard as pure excitement, joy and whim, he obviously left a lasting impression. He said, "I'm betting this is one ex-employee who will always be welcome back in the office."